Welcome back, all you TV fans and couch potatoes. I'm John Stark from ActTheMovieGuy.com, and if you've been watching these videos, you know what I'm doing. It's best of 2022, and it's February, and I'm still doing this. Um, Next year, I'll rethink categories and try to space it out a little bit better, but on the plus side, it gives me more time to watch some of those Oscar releases. So, anywho, we are in limited series, finishing it off. Today is top 10 best actress in a limited series. And yeah, there were some there were some really hard cuts here. There were some people I didn't think I was going to end up leaving off the top 10 um, that didn't make the top 10. That's happened a couple times this year. So um, sorry to a couple performances that I've been making the rounds, but there was some really rangy work from some actresses this year that don't normally get rangy work offered to them, and some different sides of actresses. And anyway, we'll get rolling. Number 10 on my list is Emily Blunt for The English, which is on Amazon Prime Video, which has audio description. I felt like this was like a totally different performance from Emily Blunt. As far as the series goes, I wasn't a huge fan of the fact that it felt that it needed this amount of time to tell the series. But Emily Blunt, throughout the whole series, her revenge plot, it's so interesting to see Emily Blunt in a revenge role, and to see her in this role where she's, out for blood. It was a nice change of pace for her. We've seen her in action stuff before, like in Edge of Tomorrow, so we know she can kick ass. So it wasn't that. It was just this coldness mixed with that, This, I have one purpose in life. I have a very particular set of skills. There's a scene just in the first episode, if you check it out, between her and Kieran Hines, that's just one of the greatest moments in television of last year, in my opinion. That scene was just palpable with intensity. It was two great actors sharing a scene and sharing a moment, and absolutely incredible for both of them. And I, after watching Karen's performance in The English, I sort of understood a little bit more of the why people want Judd Hirsch to have an Oscar nomination for The Fabelmans for having such a short performance. Because I was like, oh, Kieran Hines is barely in The English, but damn, he's good. Damn. Anyway, all right. So my number 9 pick is Mallory Johnson for Kindred. I would put her higher, but honestly, I'm still trying to finish Kindred, and I am going to finish Kindred. I don't know what this Hulu canceling Kindred thing is. The trade said it was a limited series from the very beginning, and then even IMDb had it listed as a miniseries. So I don't really understand what you can't cancel a miniseries, bro. Like, I have no idea what they're talking about. But it has audio description for every episode I've watched so far. And Mallory she's done a great job. She's playing a woman who has had a troubled past anyway, and like a history, and so not everybody always takes her seriously. And then she just starts leaping through time. Just like, she doesn't even know if it's real. And where she's leaping to is a time when it's not great to be black. She's leaping back into, the slave era. And, yeah. And some of the performances, some scenes that she's given have been just absolutely stunning so far. So I can't imagine me finishing out the series would change my opinion at all. So it's a great show so far. I don't know what Hulu's problem is, so I pray for them, I guess. Pray for Hulu. I don't know. Maybe they're having some sort of a breakdown, systematic breakdown over there at Hulu, but they're canceling things that don't need to be canceled because they're limited series. Who knows? Number 8 on my list is another Hulu project. This is Jessica Biel in Candy. I wonder if Hulu canceled this one too, even though it clearly has a beginning, middle, and end. Yeah, it has audio description, and it's kind of short. It's like 6 episodes, 5 episodes, 4, 5, 6, something like that. It's pretty short. Listen, I'm just gonna be straight up and say I don't think Jessica Biel is a good actress until Candy. Like, I really I've never actually been like, oh my god, Jessica Biel has been robbed of all of her acting nominations before. I haven't, either we haven't been giving her the right roles or something. But this was a great performance of her, you know, playing the a really typical, you know, Southern housewife, church-going Southwife. That's a new thing now. And she ends up going and well, doing something that warrants making a miniseries based on based on what she did. So I won't spoil it for you. But yeah, Jessica Biel and Candy. This was kind of like I could have put also Renee Zellweger for The Thing About Pam, because they're very similar shows, except I think Biel to me was more impressive because Zellweger, I've seen her act 1,000 times before, and even though I thought she was good in that, it's not near the top of her performances. It's sort of like how I felt about Eddie Redmayne getting all that attention for Good Nurse. It's like, yeah, he's good, but is that, I mean, he's been, I can list like 10 things where he's been better. Anyway, but Jessica Biel, I can't. I really cannot. I would struggle to find one thing where she was better than Candy. So Jessica Biel. And coming in at number 7 is another actress who doesn't necessarily always hear her name called, and that's Lily James for Pam and Tommy. Again, also a Hulu show, and also with audio description. What a daunting task to come in here and have to play Pamela Anderson. And when she was cast, before I started watching the show, I was like, Lily James as Pamela Anderson? What a weird casting choice. It worked. I mean, she did a great job. She really tried to put and get the essence of Pamela Anderson in here. And it never feels like she's just trying, like it's never just like a great mimicry performance. It's also an understanding of Pamela during her time and what's happening to her at this time, and her having to deal with Tommy. And I think it really just showcases Lily James in, you know, such a great role. I think she's a little bit better of an actress than Jessica Biel, so this surprises me a little bit less. But I didn't think her casting was spot on when I heard it, and she proved me wrong. So Lily James makes my list. Number 6 is Amanda Seyfried for The Dropout. Again, from Hulu. Hulu just killing it with these limited series this year. And it also has audio description. And this is one that's been talked about a lot. She's won some awards for it. And it's, when you look at who she's playing, and actually her performance versus who she's playing, it's a great, you know, copycat performance. It is. And Amanda is somebody who she's been in the business for a while. I wouldn't say that all of her early performances are very deep, but she's definitely gaining the maturity and the momentum in the later part of her career. And I think that's what people are gravitating toward, is that it seems like she's really clicking. Like, all the lessons learned are starting to pour into these great performances, which is why she's also an Academy Award nominated actress for Mank. So yeah, long time coming. It's funny that Karen from Mean Girls, she's come a long way. So yeah, that's Amanda Seyfried. I think maybe people thought she'd be higher on my list, but I this is a great year for this category. So coming up, number 5 is a not Hulu show. This is Kate McKinnon for Joe versus Carol, which aired on Peacock and has audio description. And this was the casting that made sense. This is just like, you know, this is like a PB&J sandwich. It just sounds good. Kate McKinnon playing Carol Baskin just is like, okay. But then you go, wait a minute. Does that make it a joke? Is it funny? And that's where you run into the question. And Kate McKinnon pulled off what is not a parody of Carol Baskin, but rather what is an honest portrayal of Carol Baskin, and giving her the benefit of the doubt. You know, like, a lot of people laughed at her when she was on Dancing with the Stars, me included. I was like, we should probably find her husband before we let her be on Dancing with the Stars, just to make sure everything's okay. But that's going to be a moment in time if we flash back, 5 years down the road, and they're like, "Ooh, we find it." Turns out, and then they're like, "Oh, Dancing with the Stars is like, oh shit, we messed that one up." But yeah, so Kate McKinnon really just sort of gave a clean slate and made Carol relatable and at times endearing and likable. And you only do that if you're approaching it from the honesty of wanting to tell somebody's story in the most fair and even paced light possible. So it's a great performance. It wasn't just something that she did like long form Saturday Night Live sketch. It really actually was a great performance. So Kate McKinnon, who's been really underrepresented in a lot of awards this year for this, is my number 5. Number 4 is Julia Roberts for Gaslight. Or Gaslit, or whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Gaslit. It is on Stars. It does not have audio description. Sorry, sports fans. But yeah, Julia Roberts is one of those few actresses that I do sometimes check out and then stay with a show that has no audio description, and Julia Roberts, one of those rare exceptions that can get me to watch a show that doesn't have audio description, especially when the show turns out to be actually pretty good. But she played Martha Mitchell, and the story took sort of an interesting twist on the Watergate scandal and an interesting perspective. And we saw Martha Mitchell, and this was a great year for Martha Mitchell because she got Julia Roberts playing her in a limited series, and then her documentary short got an Oscar nomination, Martha Mitchell Effect, on Netflix. So if you want to learn more about Watergate and you want to know more about Martha Mitchell, I thought Julia Roberts did a fantastic job. There's definitely an episode later in the season where she just absolutely kills it. Just her Emmy moment comes her way, which oddly she did not get an Emmy nomination for this. It was considered one of the bigger snubs of the year, but that's life. All right, so who's next? Number 3. I did not think I was going to put this as high on my list as I am, but I can't get Zoe Saldana's performance in From Scratch out of my head. This is Netflix, and this has audio description, and this is one of the saddest things I think I've ever seen in my life. Definitely in terms of series. I can't think of the last time a series moved me the way From Scratch did. I know This Is Us kept trying to. This Is Us kept trying to have these moments. But From Scratch really just, man, it sets you up right away. Like, at the beginning, it's not, you don't know what you're in for. But man, it's just emotionally draining by the end of it. And Zoe just gives such a dynamic performance. And sometimes, there's crying for the camera, and it's sort of like a pretty cry. And and it's the actor's cry. You know, the I don't even. I'm so sorry. You can't. I need to run out. I don't know. I just need a minute. You know, it's like that kind of cry. And then there's like ugly cry, where like normally directors don't like it because you get kind of gross and snotty, but it's like the real cry. It's the cry that we've all had at some point in our life over something. And Zoe ugly cries in this, and it is it's devastating. I mean, her performance in this is I've liked Zoe in other things before. I think she's actually a good actress. So this is not like a thing where I'm like grading her on a curve, like, good job, Zoe. You have dramatic work. No, I think she's a good actress. But this was just such a showcase. It's like other people in Hollywood are really trying to get you to know that Zoe is a good actress, and they're giving her the right roles. To try to position her for awards consideration. And you could call this trite. You could call this, emotionally manipulative, but if you're doing it, you were probably emotionally manipulated by her performance, I would think, because she carries the show. So please watch. Well, actually, I series is not going to be for everybody. If you've if you're somebody who's dealt with a lot of loss in your life, this show may not be for you. I straight up told somebody in my life who recently had somebody pass away, I was like, if somebody recommends From Scratch for you to watch on Netflix, they're not your friend. They're not. This is not the show for you. So that's my number 3. Number 2. My runner-up spots. Who gets the runner-up spot? It could be anybody at this point, because I've already passed Amanda Seyfried, so that was probably the one everybody was waiting for. This is somebody whose show just didn't register, and I don't get it, because this was one of my favorite shows of last year. But Elizabeth Moss for Shining Girls, which is on Apple and has audio description. I loved this. I loved every moment of Shining Girls. I loved the first episode when I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just like, what is this? What is happening? We're shifting realities. She can't remember. She's like taking a journal of her life. But like, as you let the series progress and you realize she's a survivor and she's fighting back and she's got the strength, the strength of, this is her fight song, you're going to hear her roar, all of those things, all rolled up into one performance. And it was just fantastic. It was just a great performance from Elizabeth Moss. The only reason why it didn't win is because, this is kind of what Elizabeth Moss does. She kind of does this women fight back role, like this is her thing. This is her niche, and she's definitely carved out a spot for her in the market where she just it's an odd thing to become known for, but man, she's really good at it. And she made this series fantastic. The series just was paced and told, and I love the story and everything about it. But, that's a hint, going beyond my top 10 list. If you're hearing what I'm saying, I love this show. It's going to make my top 10. Anyway, so she's my runner-up. So who won? Michelle Pfeiffer. For The First Ladies, which was on Showtime, which does technically have audio description depending on how you find it. Depending on how you watch Showtime. And with the new Paramount Plus merger, if you wait a little while, as long as they don't content purge it, you should be able to watch this. But, it's funny because she's up against Viola Davis playing Michelle Obama. She's up against Gillian Anderson playing Eleanor Roosevelt. And I didn't go into this show thinking that I was going to walk away thinking Betty Ford was the takeaway, that Michelle Pfeiffer was what I was going to get. Viola and Jillian seem like the consummate actresses that are the obvious choices. And Michelle always seems like somebody who's fallen just a little bit short. I think the closest she came to anything in the film categories recently was French Exit, which was a few years back. But yeah, it's been a while for her. It's not that she's bad. I don't think anybody ever thinks Michelle Pfeiffer is a bad actress. I mean, to this day, there are still people who just swear by her Catwoman performance. So, it's just, it was actually perfect casting. I mean, she just came in, she breathed life into Betty Ford and gave us this lovely person and this really sort of tremendous spirit who was a little broken and had been through a little bit, but was sort of steadfast and supporting and wanting to do the right thing. And she just got caught up in some sort of addiction troubles, and watching her face them head on. It was a great performance from Michelle, and it was a nice story to tell about Betty Ford, and I thought it did it respectfully and honestly, and I thought Michelle always was approaching that from being respectful and honest. Yeah, and I think I definitely gained the most experience from that third of the series than the other two, which is weird, but I did not think I would feel that way going in. But when I was done, I was left with, man, Michelle Pfeiffer did a great job. So congratulations, Michelle Pfeiffer, for the First Lady. She's at the top of my list. So that's where we're at. Tomorrow I'm going to be coming back with lead actor in a limited series. Who will be on the top of that list? So let me know in the comments if you think I, snubbed your favorite actress of the year. Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch, I fully acknowledge that fell just short, and for various reasons, Anna Chlumsky, I just thought she was the straight person in that series, and I wanted to put her in my top 10. I thought she'd make my top 10, but when I was looking at all these dynamic performances, I just thought, that series was kind of Julia Garner. Vera Farmiga was just part of an ensemble to me. She just kind of got lost a little bit until the series needed to focus on her. I wasn't too tremendously focused on her performance until the show was like, okay, stop. We're going to focus on this character. So yeah, there's a lot of other great performances out there, but that's my top 10. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you on the other side.